take it we're now.
Yes, it's like
we're on air.
Hey!
So in Scotland and in Stoke, we have. Hello, I'm Bart, and I'm sort of heading this this sort of chat with my good friend Shaun over there in sunny Scotland. How are you, sir? You all right?
Sunny Scotland. Well, it is actually quite. Well, it's cloudy up here, but apart from that, yeah, everything's all good.
It's sunnier than Stoke-on-Trent, mate, as always.
It's always raining up here.
Yeah, same here. So we found out that myself and Shaun were really into the group, really into the Facebook group, but we found that we were always commenting and making each other laugh on each other's stuff and posts all the way down the page. And it's the same with about 20, 30 other people. And with the sheer size of this group, we wanted to do something a bit different. So what we thought was we'd make our first fan group TV program via YouTube, obviously. And this one's going to be a bit rough and ready tonight, but me and Shaun have been working the last few weeks trying to get some articles and things to talk about and discuss, and we want your feedback as well. Basically, so you haven't got to see us on screen. If you could send in your pictures, graphics for different things that we're going to do, all that kind of stuff, and post it to the Facebook group. Hopefully we're going to do one of these before each round to reflect on that, and we want every single person on the group involved. So we will, this first one is for the admins and to make sure that the content and they're happy with the format of the show. So it's our own views. It's not the views of the BTCC, Alan Gow, Dunlop, the BTCC fan group, Facebook. We've been through so many legals, haven't we, Shaun, to be honest?
Yeah, we have, yes. It's been a bit exhausting, tiring, frustrating as well that we couldn't do it and up until now, because I've all this time I've been really up for this, but we haven't had, like Bart's been doing something at different days and I've been doing something at different days, so this is like the only time we could only do this. So
yeah, it's that time of year. So we've been working our way through some of the things that we've done, and we've narrowed it down to just a few questions that we started talking about. And we actually, at the end, we put one of the posts on the group and got your feedback. So it's actually the first interactive feedback from the group. So we're just going to go that. I'd like to start off the conversation, if I can, with you, Shaun, about why did you join the group in the first place then? Tell us something about yourself so the people who don't know us can find out a bit more about us.
Okay then, right. Well, hello everyone. I'm Shaun. I first started watching British touring cars in 98. I want to say 97 because I might watched it at my mum's work. But 98 was when I started watching it. I first heard of the BTCC fans group page on another another Facebook page. What else was I supposed to say? I forgot now. My first BTCC, I actually went to one at Knockhill, but it was a qualifying one on a Saturday.
Okay.
But the first race one was the year afterwards. What else was to say?
I was just going to say, I mean, for me, I joined the group because I've been obsessed with it from there. I'm quite a bit older, as you can probably tell by the face. Odd paper round. And
it's probably better than my face anyways.
Oh mate, don't be so harsh. It's fine. That's it. I look CGI'd in this webcam.
God, my second chin's ugly.
You see how the banter goes. Yeah, so I remember Steve Ryder hosting it on Grandstand in the early 90s and all the super touring stuff, you know. And I think my first ever memory of British touring cars was Gabriele Tarquini coming through Alton Park on two wheels in 94 and ended up in a heap almost 3/4 on his roof right in front of where I was stood.
That was Knockhill.
Yeah, was it Knockhill? Yeah,
it was Knockhill.
Yeah, well, we were all over the place back then, but there was the Alton Park round that year. It must have been in practice or something. He had a serious off and ended up literally parked in the barrier right next to where I was stood. And it was the most exciting thing I'd ever seen at Alton Park at that point. So it's like, I was hooked. I was just hooked at that point. First BTCC I remember is evidently all the Steve Soper, John Clallan stuff first time round. The super touring stuff was just amazing. Will Hoy was a massive fan of mine. You know, in '92 I was 18, so it was like
rest in peace, Will. As well.
Yeah, and again, I don't think you'll see the likes of him or all that manufacturers spending that amount of money at the British touring cars again. You know, it's it was a completely different era where the BTCC was at the pinnacle of tin top racing in Europe, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely.
So all the way through your BTCC fans, then, Shaun, who's been your favourite driver?
Oh, God, that's a tough one. Caught me off guard. I would say Plato because I mean, no matter what he's done in the BTCC, his records speaks for himself. He's the most winningest driver. Probably got the most fastest lap than anyone. He's probably scored more points than anyone, most pole positions than anyone. I mean, it speaks for themselves. I mean, like him or love him, what he's done in the BTCC has been impressive, incredible.
Yeah. For me, I think Andy Rouse in the early days, but just coming up to modern day and bringing it forward. I think at the moment, I'm really impressed with Aaron Smith. I think he's a sleeping giant. I really do honestly believe he's got a crack at the championship this year.
Yeah. If he can get his car perfectly fine for every race, because we know he missed the round 4 race with a brake fluid issue.
Yeah. Apparently, the left disc went in the pits. They repaired that. He got to the end of the pit lane, then the right one went.
Yeah. So that was a shame. But then he did have a good race at Donington, to be fair.
Yeah, and to be fair, he's a really nice guy as well. When I first got involved with the group, we had an auction for a charity event that we did last year, and he actually provided us with a signed watch that he wore in one of the races, which I thought was a really good experience and a good thing to do. He's a really nice guy to deal with as well. So,
yeah.
So going on, favourite car then?
Favourite car? Oh, I would say the BMW from '94.
Oh,
from 93, 94. I just love that. I love that engine. So gorgeous to listen to.
Yeah,
so gorgeous.
I remember the Frank Sittner ones, the ones that were sponsored by Mobil One.
Yo.
That was the car. That really was the car. When every time they changed gear, it sounded just phenomenal. You know, you could hear that it was an angry. The car was angry.
Aye, there was an angry man behind the wheel.
We've just had the Grand National, and when you get somebody fall off the horse in the Grand National, and the horse just keeps running at the front, it's like, I don't care. It was like that, but with stickers on it, really. So memorable race then. What's the most memorable race you've seen so far in the BTCC and so far this season?
The most memorable race for me, but not the one this season. I'll talk about the one this season. The definite one that stands out the most was Donington '98, the feature race with Nigel Mansell. That one stands out by far. But also the one for this season was definitely the round 6 race yesterday.
Yeah, I mean that was
absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
And the thing with it is as well, what I really liked about seeing it from Donington's, from looking at an ITV4 footage, was the fact that you can see Donington healing itself in front of your eyes. I think the old Formula One contract thing sort of ripped the soul out of the place a bit. Last 2 times I felt there, it felt different. I don't know whether it's just me or anybody else there, but they seem to be building it and they seem to be making it better than it originally was for me. Now, I think they're about 2 years away from it being an absolutely cracking venue to go and watch any racing at all.
And we also missed the bridge after the Coppice Corner, the bridge with the Dunlop hanging. Obviously, that was taken away for Formula One, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chris Evans bought that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he paid £300 for it in a charity auction.
Wow. It's iconic as that. It's only 300 quid.
Yeah, he had to pay to have it moved. I'm sure there was news stories about that. I'm sure somebody in the group remembers the story and can correct me on the price, but I think it was around about that point. But yeah, it's Chris Evans owns it, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it, really?
It is.
You think with Dunlop actually sponsoring the BTCC, they'd put that bridge back?
Oh, ask Chris Evans, can we have it kindly back, please?
Yeah, we want it back.
Yeah, because we miss it. I want it back.
Yeah, for me, I think my most memorable race was the closest I ever got to the BTCC, which was the Alton Park round in 2005. And it was memorable for me because I was actually marshalling on the insides of the corner at Cascades. So, every time they were coming round, we were literally 3 feet away from the car. It was ridiculous how close they were coming, and seeing Plato coming through with Matt Neal, I think it was in race 2. and they were and neither of them were giving each other an inch. And to be fair, shall we say, Matt was helping Plato around the corner, shall we? Without the
typical.
he was trying to remove his body kit without the aid of tools. I think that's the best. I think it's the only way I could describe it, really. But yeah, that was pretty special. You know, I really feel that the BTCC is going from strength to strength, and it's been a really interesting sort of journey from super touring. And at the beginning, when this new format of car, this next generation touring car came out,
that was 2001, that wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought that it would like numb the racing, if you get what I mean.
I was the same as well, because with the super tourists, as you said, the race then was sensational. It was amazing to watch. You just hit someone off, you drive away, you don't get a penalty, like what you do with the new cars. Mm-hmm.
I think the new cars, there's more scope for this. The new cars don't seem to be as sort of, how can I put it, like highly strung. I know they're running about half the brake horsepower and everything else, and there's a lot of technology is more advanced now. But it seems to be that the cars are actually more reliable. You don't seem to see many cars actually breaking down due to engine failure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and I think I wasn't really sure at the start of the season about the ballast and the weight going in each individual car, but it seems to have spiced the racing up really nicely.
Except for Rob Collard, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm sure Rob's not that happy, but I think that's just the disadvantage of having a rear-wheel drive car this year. I think having a rear-wheel drive car last year, it was a major advantage. I think this year it's a major disadvantage, but that's my own personal opinion. Yeah.
I think with the rear end driven drive cars, they're getting a lot more punishment because of also of the clutch, because they're getting, is it more weight at the front on that as well?
Yeah,
it's like a more heavier car that they've got. So it's like 75 kilo plus their weight at the front for the fairness of the clutch, still, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, you know, there's a mechanical advantage with that, and I think what they should actually do is make them. You know, at the end of the day, as a manufacturer or as a team, you make your decisions, you select your car, and you sort of, you know, you can't fault WSR for wanting to pick a rear-wheel drive car. I don't think they should be punished just because it's either or. You know, you get to certain circuits that suit certain cars, and I don't understand why one team should be punished over another for doing that. You know, it's a bit crazy, really.
Yeah, I think BMW is not looking forward towards Thruxton, the next race meeting, because their cars are normally down on power, aren't they? And Thruxton's a fast circuit. So, I mean, that's really going to hurt Prio, Collard, and Tordorf as well.
Yeah, and I mean, the main issue with that, evidently, with that extra weight on, is whoever has to run the soft tyre in that race. And where
they're going to be killed. They are going to be killed.
You know, but will we see things like we did last season, where we had that one meeting where it was full of accidents, and then Dunlop have a rethink about what they're actually going to do? You know, because they do actually have a special tyre for that round as well, don't they? If my memory serves me correctly.
They've got a special tyre for that, but it still causes a lot of punctures still, with all the drivers attacking the curbs, like at Campbell, Cobb, Seagrave, the club chicane as well. Maybe even Church as well, because that's nearly a flat out corner too as well, and that gives the tyres a good punishment as well.
I mean, they've gone really down on track limits this year, and that's been sort of tightening up for some time now. I mean, do you think that, I know it's the MSV circuits that really do it, so all the Palmer style ones, Brands Hatch, Alton Park, all those ones, but do you feel that other circuits, as like the BTCC, need to take a stand on track limits? Because I kind of like them skipping the corners. It kind of makes that sort of, you know, seeing someone like Andy Jordan go through a set of chicanes on two wheels, you know, and Paul O'Neill, when he was racing, was the master at that stuff. He really did, mate. He did. You know, he lost a second every lap, but you watched him.
Yeah. I think with the track limits as well, I think what you said was pretty much what I was going to say as well. I think every racing driver, they want to find that bit more to try and gain a bit, so they try and like maybe shortcut it as well. Yeah. But I think as well, the what from the racing yesterday in the Ginetta Juniors, there was a lot of people, a lot of drivers in the Ginetta Juniors going off at what was it again? Redgate, the Old Hairpin, McLean's as well. There was a lot of drivers going off there.
I think that's down to the camber shift in the car, because when they get the weight shift between front and rear in something like a Ginetta Junior, I mean, with a touring car, at least the teams know, okay, we've got to put the weight on and it's bad for the car, but at least they can select where it sits in the car to make it at least handle properly.
Yeah. I mean, as well, Croft as well. Croft's a good example. After the first corner, they have like a tricky chicane, but the drivers just go straight through it. They just don't bother going, turning, I think it was right and then left. They just go straight on.
Yeah, I was at a training day a few years back. I went on a what they call the Blendini Scholarship, which is Mazda MX-5s, and the guy who was doing the instructing there was an ex-touring car driver, and he was basically saying on that course that when touring car drivers get and I don't know if this is still true, but when he was racing in it and testing for those teams, any chicane, what he used to do in one of the old style touring cars was literally let go of the steering wheel and just accelerate, because no matter how fast they move the wheel, it couldn't be as quick as the engine actually, 500 brake horsepower just making the car go straight when you floored it, And it's kind of scary that some of them actually, still drive like that, it's blatantly obvious to see.
That'd be weird though, driving out and he was like, oh, I'm going down in the corner and hi.
Yeah. It's just like, it was literally they sort of aim it at a chicane and then split second just let go of the steering wheel and let the car bounce off out the curbs either side and wait for the vibration happen and then just let grab back on the wheel again. And it was literally just a couple of millimeters off the steering wheel. And when I first heard that, I was just like, no. I couldn't. I think I'd run out of brave pills at exactly that point,
I would hate the chicane at Croft though after Hawthorns, the first corner.
Yeah.
With them attacking the curb as well, I think you would have to hold on to the steering wheel then.
Yeah, and I mean, yesterday the one that really got me yesterday was the MSA race, the Formula Ford. The Formula Ford replacement, the Formula 4.
Just MSC Formula, that's what it was.
Yeah, that particular, to me, it'll always be Formula Ford in my head. And again, briefly watch the highlights because I've just been on a massive day of work. It's like the guy who span off and across the track. It reminds me, it was a similar sort of place, if you remember a few years ago when Plato was in the Silverline Chevrolet. And he went in that bank there and rolled 3 or 4 times.
Oh, it's
he's going down the crane of curves. He speared
he
speared off to the right and went in there and had quite an heavy impact in there. And it seemed to be that the bump that upset Plato back then upset that Formula car. The Formula cars didn't look as stable through the crane of curves yesterday. And I was just wondering whether, there's something in when they've perhaps reprofiled it or retarmac those crane of curves that is unsettling the touring cars, because everybody seemed to not be, apart from Shedden, obviously, who somehow must use magic and shutting his eyes.
That is a brave corner to go flat out, and especially going side by side there too. That takes balls to do.
Yeah, was he on the one say Matt Neal was saying he was going nearly 8 miles an hour faster?
No, 3 miles an hour faster.
3?
Yeah, it was 3.
Just like, it's absolutely crazy when you think about, those 3 miles an hour. It doesn't seem much, but you take it out for a lap time. It's, and I mean the race last meeting, how close that finish was as well. There's a real good battle building there, and although they were ranked outsiders at the beginning, I think Honda have got a real big chance at the team championship this year.
Do you know what? At the start of the season, all the talk was for BMR, with Plato, Turkington joining them. Honda were, as you said, completely off the radar. Got a new car. Car looks nice, by the way. The new Honda Civic Type R, much more better than the Super Tourer last year. That was just disastrous. But they've won 50% of the races so far. And I mean, all that we were talking about was BMR, Plato, Turkington, well, BMW, Andy Priel. Honda, they just come out of nowhere and have won 50% of the races. I mean,
and that car's only going to get quicker as well because their factory involvement from Honda. Those are literally those parts. If
and
they
Honda
get
engine.
Yeah, I mean, if they get anywhere near, I mean, is it actually a Honda engine? Because
It's a Honda engine. Yeah, Honda engine.
When they were actually in Dynamics, they used to use Neil Brown engines, hadn't they? And then they were sort of like, it was an NGTC spec. It was a Honda badged, but it was actually built by the guy who builds the bulk of the privateer team engines.
Yeah. And as well, coming to Thruxton as well, the Hondas are very good there. Got a lot of great success around there too. So
yeah, I mean, you only had to see Andy Jordan taking it as an independent to the actual Honda team a few seasons back when they were all in Civics.
Yeah,
and it's kind of makes you wonder what the future is for people like Andy Jordan, because I seriously believe personally that this could be Andy Jordan's last season in British touring cars going forward. And I've just got a sneaky feeling about it. I haven't heard anything officially, but I've just got a sneaky feeling. And the thought behind it for me is he's a Red Bull athlete, and Red Bull have poured fortunes into this global rallycross brand. And, the prize money's a lot bigger. It's more of a global audience.
They do it big in America.
Yeah, and he could, with his previous rallycross experience, it could be that he dovetails rounds of, certainly the Lydden Hill, the UK rounds, and guest drives for Red Bull and stuff like that. And also with Triple Eight, there's the ability to actually go forward and, do some GT driving as well, Le Mans and things like that. Are perhaps a possibility for Andy Jordan in the future.
Could be, maybe.
I just think that he's the only driver on the grid with that level of commitment from a big major international company like for me anyway, somebody that's, I mean, I'm not saying they aren't, massive companies sponsoring other cars on the grids or other drivers, but I'm trying to say like that I've got such a motorsports power and force of nature behind it, if you get what I'm saying. I mean, that Red Bull could spend, they've got their own TV production company that do all the rally championships. If they wanted to start making 1-hour documentaries for ITV about Andy Jordan and his journey around the world doing GT driving and stuff as well. I mean, he's quite media savvy guy. He's the British. I personally think he's the British touring car equivalent to Guy Martin. That boy, he's always got something to say, and it's always really good when he says it as well. For me.
I think if your suggestion would go out that he might be going rallycross next year, I think it'll be a big loss to the BTCC because he was there since he was a teenager. My thing to me is,
why have Red Bull gone in for Andy Jordan if they're not then going to plaster Red Bull all over the car? Because if you look at all the other things that Red Bull put fortunes into, the first thing they do is plaster Red Bull all over the cars as well.
Yeah, and it's all sponsored by Pertec.
Yeah, and I mean, Pertec have been a very, very good sponsor all the way through and have supported him all the way through his career, whichever team he's gone with. And I think if he was in Global Rallycross, he'd take him with him because they're a major international company as well.
And also, maybe with the Red Bull stickers, if he does go rallycross it again, or global rallycross, sorry.
Yeah, I just think it's a really good opportunity for them to stick MG in global rallycross.
What car would they use though?
The same as they'd use the silhouette of the British touring car and just stick another 300 brake horsepower in it for me. If I was the head of that particular rallycross team, I'd make it, so he's in the BTCC on the Sunday, but Friday night on some American sports channel, he's in Los Angeles, thrashing something else that looks identical cars. It looks like to the kids, he looks like he's in the same car.
Yeah, that's a shout. That could be a good shout.
I don't know. I've got contacts in about the place, and I'm desperately trying in future episodes to get some drivers on here. And I've got a guy I work with, and he's desperately putting lots of feelers out for AJ at the moment. So please, if you see it and watching it, Andy, please, we want to speak to you. We know you're only down the road from where we are, so please, come visit us. It'd be great to see you. And other drivers are also available. Let's get everybody involved. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about the question that you put out on the
let's have a look. Yeah, did we? Is this your famous "You are Alan Gow" question?
Yeah. This was it. Yeah. So
we had so much fun with this the other night. We lost. Honestly, we lost. I can't even begin to tell you. We forgot to start the hangout the other night and lost best part of 4 hours talking about this. It was brilliant. Go on, Shaun. You kick it off, mate.
Right then, so Bart put out the question saying, if you were in charge of the BTCC, if you were basically in Alan Gow's boots, what rules would you like to change? People have come out in your comments. That didn't make sense at all, but thank you very much for that. So we'll read some of them out if you do.
Yeah,
if that's okay.
That's right. Yeah, if we can mention the person who made the comment as well, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, right then. So first of all, Jack Vincent, hello. He put out two ones. He said what you said is not too long ago. Track limits not so strict.
Yes.
Yeah, he said that. And he also said grid girls do the reverse drawing, different grid girl each race. But if we see that we saw from Donington, it was who was it? The track director, was it Chris T. So I think what they're going to is just trying to find the track director of Thruxton.
That's going to be interesting in Knockhill, because at Knockhill isn't that Gordon Shedden?
Yeah, because he owns it, doesn't he?
Yeah, part of. Yeah, I'm sure he's really out there. So yes.
So if he finishes like 6th to 10th, he'll just dip his ball and say, "Which ball is it?" But there's ball number 8. Yeah. Oh, that is ball number 8.
Or as we call it, the Rob Austin Lottery program.
Right then. So thank you very much for that, Jack. Simon Alcock, and this one I do agree on. Bring back compulsory pit stops.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Oh, I would love that.
Some formula reaction, have another car in, switch it round, take a Ford Fiesta off the car park, do 2 laps in that and bring it back. Beautiful.
He also says, what about a joker lap, like what they do in Rallycross, which is just basically going to be like a drive-through penalty, isn't it?
Yeah, there could be that. The interesting one that we were thinking of for this was actually at the end of the season, but we'll perhaps come on to that one, Shaun. So that was the one that really got me, was the one that was sent in, and I sort of commented on it. It was a discussion I had with somebody else in the group, and they basically were saying, well, what we ought to do is once all the races and everything are all done, and it's the end of the season, what we should do is wrap every single car jet black, put a stock standard BTCC logo on it, and then literally give all the only rule is you can't drive your own team's car. So you stick Plato and a Merc. You just for one race, it's the end of the season. The cars are all going to get replaced. All the drivers' championships, it wouldn't affect anything. And just have an ITV champions race.
Just have an all-out brawl, destruction derby, end of season bash.
Yeah, literally an end of season bash, and just literally. The person who's the champion has to come through from the back of the grid and they get no ballast. Just make it the most hectic race. It reminds me of the, do you remember when Senna and they had like Niki Lauda and all that, and there was Merc 190Es years ago, and they used to have them before, at the end of every season, they used to have this big charity race. It would normally take place in Brazil. And it was basically wherever the Formula One season finished, Mercedes put a load of literally bog standard cars with just the drivers' names written on the doors and just let them go. And I don't think any of them cars ever come back in one piece. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I remember that, though, to be honest. I don't think I was watching Formula One back then.
Yeah, it was like, when I do read a lot of books about F1 and stuff, and it's like, I never saw one of the races myself, but you're always in the history books of F1, you see these races, and there's a great shot of Niki Lauda and Ayrton Senna, literally BTCC door style, shall we say, assisting them through some chicanes.
Yeah.
And it's just a really good, it seemed to be an amazing thing. I just think that worked really well. So other comments then, what else was on there?
Right then, next one is from Colin Wells. Thank you very much for this. He also agreed with what Simon said about bring back compulsory pit stops, but he says, but make the drivers change their own wheels.
Nice.
Imagine how long that will be, taking the seatbelts off, the safety net down, open the door. It's quite a cramped pad when you open the door, isn't it? Because you have to move your leg out quite a bit and then change your own tyres as well.
The other one, I think they could actually, the other thing they could actually do with this compulsory pit stop is actually make them go walk around the car. So basically, they don't change anything on the tyres or anything like that, but they actually physically have to get out of the car, walk around the car, and get back in. They do that a lot in endurance karting. It seems to work. It seems to be a disadvantage without wrecking the field and wrecking the race. It seems to work quite well for that sort of long distance karting, you know.
Never thought that one. Anyways, other one is from, well, I think this is a guy that's well known in the fans group, David Team Hard VIP Ball.
Hey, there you go. Hello, how are you?
He also agrees as well with Simon, but he says bring back a 1 hour race with compulsory pit stop and a driver change. The second driver has to be from another TOCA championship, which is just like the old TOCA shootout, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well is, like, you know, the other thing that it could actually do, and I still think that would be really interesting, was one that was sent to me on email when I first started joining the group. Actually, was one that come through that basically said end of season race, but actually you have to look at everything else that's on the BTCC package, and you actually go on. So say, like, you know, Rob Collard had evidently picked his own lad to drive his touring car for this one race, you know, and the winner of that race gets a contract in a BTCC car. So they get the job. They get the job of, you know, they either get a full season in a BTCC sponsored team, or they end up driving the safety car for British touring cars for a season, as well as their racing commitments.
There's a phone.
There is a phone. Just ignore that. That will go away in a second. You carry on, Shaun. I will hang that up. All right, mate. 2 seconds.
All right, then. Right, so the next one, David also put another 2 ideas in. One of them, I didn't quite understand, but he says minimum size of eligible car. So instead of 1 series and Focus, we have 3 or 4 series and Mondeo. Which, did you get that?
Yes, I did. It's all right. Don't worry. It's just my agent firing me. It's fine.
Oh, that's lovely. Happy days.
Again. Yeah, go on.
What do you think about this one then? Another one from David Boy. He says minimum size of eligible car. So instead of 1 series and Focus, we have 3 or 4 series and Mondeo. Which nice. I don't understand. I don't get that. I'm a bit puzzled. I'm just dumb.
So basically, like, so if you like running a Ford Focus, you have to run another model from the same range. Is that what he's meaning by that?
Oh, right, okay.
That's what I take it to mean. Just leaving it like that. Most probably got it completely wrong, but you know.
Do you know if Volkswagen would have the CC? Was it is it the CC that they've got?
Yeah.
What happens if they change it to a Beetle? Imagine Plato and Turkington with a Beetle.
Do you want me to tell you the end of if we did do the end of season races? Do you want me to tell you what we need to do them in? Camper vans or a VW Fox. Get some 1 litre action.
Camper van.
Yeah, 1 litre. You know, the old style camper van racing. We got shall we say quite on the wrong side of sober at Donington a few seasons back, and we come out with a great one, which was end of season race, but the teams basically you have to race an ice cream van each. And the second driver has to make an order of ice creams whilst the lead driver does the actual race, and the winner is the person who's got the most upright ice cream at the end of the carnage. We think that'd work quite well.
Just imagine the hundreds and thousands out on track and all the marshals brushing it all away.
It's just like that. I could just see Paul O'Neill going, you know, it's like, you know, well, what weight flake is he going to be using in the next round?
What success ballast is the flake?
Yeah. Grams into there. So come on, we had some really good responses to this, and this is exactly how we want it to be. We'd like to post the questions when we do the next one. Actually take some live as well, but basically if it is that you can't make the hangout and you're watching this on demand and, you know, all that sort of stuff, it'd be great if we could actually bring this stuff in. This is exactly what me and Shaun want to do with it, so keep it coming.
It was I'm still talking about the questions, yeah?
Yeah, I was just going to say, keep the questions coming in as well. You know, this feed, we can do more of these next week and touch on some more if that's the case, yeah.
I think there was the one that was probably the standout one was what Andy Millard, Andy Becker also said was lose the tyre rule. And I think definitely, get rid of the tyre rule would be better.
In what way? Oh, as in the soft and hard compound.
Yeah, the soft and hard compound, because it does spoil that. I mean, Collard was a good example at Brands Hatch because he won the race, didn't get the fastest lap, but he finished out the points in the second race. And I think the same as for Matt Neal as well. He finished I think he had the super softs in the first race and finished 14th.
Yeah, I seriously think what they should do, you know, is, especially for the ones that are in the Jack Sears Trophy or something like that, give those guys for just one round or a couple of rounds at key clutch moments, perhaps a set of qualifying tyres. So you get somebody who's right at the back running right at the front, you know, because the tyres are a second a lap quicker, you know, just to really spice those grids up a bit more as well. That would be really great. But it's how far do you take that before you damage your championship, which we love, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, I had this kind of suggestion. If they do bring back the compulsory pit stops, right, they'll race with the hard tyres in the first race, the hard tyres in the second race, the third race will be the pit stops. What about it's up to the drivers' option if they want to start the race on the hard tyre or the soft tyre, make a pit stop, change tyres into the opposite tyres. So say, for example, Plato starts on soft tyres, makes a pit stop and goes on to hard tyres.
Yeah, so basically they have to do, you're going back to the F1, they have to use both tyres in a race, aren't you, there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that could really work. I mean, you know, it's how long do we get with this before we start getting with the next generation touring cars, where they start doing energy recovery and all that, and it becomes a sort of a touring car Formula One, if you get what I mean. That's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. And also, I don't want to sound too disrespectful when I say this, but when I liked watching the pit stops, I would like to see like the mechanics make mistakes in pit lane. But would love to see is the driver's aggression and see him catch his way up through the field as well. That's something that I would really love to see as well.
The one thing that I've been working out, you know, is whether they could have sort of an auto boost feature, if you get what I'm saying. So they've got I remember Formula Palmer Audi from a few years back, and they used to have a push to pass.
Push the pass button.
You could literally use it 3 times in a meeting. So you could use it. You could use it once in a race, just once, and it's like a 10 horsepower overboost. So you know, can you just imagine? You know, you would have had some controversy with it, sure. Like last week. If Shedden didn't win last week, you know, if Shedden didn't win purely because he'd used his boost in the race before, you know, it would spice it up. But I just think if somebody had that one, you know, part of boost, you know, it could spice things up. Because sometimes you get a battle on the grid that happens like round about 9 or 10th, and you know for a fact the person in 11th, once they get past these two, if they're not battling, can catch and pass because perhaps there's 2 laps left to go or something.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they could use a push to pass, get past them and actually go at them before they run out of laps, you know, because the drivers who are battling for 10th and 11th might not actually see any blue flags for 3-4 corners, by which time there isn't just enough distance to actually make the passes further on.
They did it in kart as well many years ago, the Championship Auto Racing Team series. They did that, but I think the push to pass button was like a minute, and it was throughout the whole race. Or was it 30 seconds? One of them two. Before the series got defunct.
It was on a timer then, basically, yeah?
Yeah,
because, I mean, what they could actually do is put a pre-measured boost in it as well. You know, and I think what would do it really is, and I don't know if the next generation touring cars do this, but a unified launch system. So everybody's got the same launch.
Yeah.
Because that would help new drivers coming in, you know. And but again, you know, is that taking away the skill of a touring car driver? Because a touring car driver, it's very rare they come into this championship and an overnight success.
Yeah, I think more BTCC is more into talent than technology, like it is the opposite in Formula One.
Yeah, and it's you know, and it's a very interesting concept that actually. I love the idea of the push to pass it. That's corker. Do we have any more on that one?
Just saying, the soft tyres rule hanging. Ryan Rainwright and Ty Kokorin also agreed with that. Rob Clarkson, hello Rob, he says relax the restrictions on the rear-wheel drive cars and let them choose whichever drivetrain they prefer.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think that when they start messing around ballast like that, it's just down to the car selection. You know, if the BMW is the better car off the start line, surely next year the grid will be full of them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you've got to build what you've got to build. But I mean, you know, again, I love Rob Austin. His whole persona about how he goes racing and everything else, I think is fantastic. But you know, it just shows you the difference between BMW being involved and his team being involved. I mean, the difference in budgets must just be immense. You know, there's no two ways of going for that.
Yeah. Other ones, different ones here. Matthew Knight and Ryan Ashcroft. Hello to them both as well. They say no ballast.
Yes, that's what we want.
I don't know about that. Because then you get like a standout driver in each race. Like, wasn't it in 1999? Wasn't it Law Aiello? He won about 4 races in a row, won about £100,000 as well, and he dominated that championship. And what was it after that year? Was that when they introduced the weight ballast?
Yeah, I think there's, you know, you're getting into the back where you're almost back into the manufacturers getting involved and you know, people making parts for the car that were not necessarily, they were standard part, but they were like really ultra light, and you're getting into this whole 3D printing era now, you know, and it's very, very interesting subject. I was watching a science program the other week when they were on about this graphene, but it's been invented by these scientists in Manchester, and they were basically saying that it's that strong, it's as thin as a human hair, but it can actually support the weight of an elephant if you can actually balance it on this you know, there's people like that. When they start making touring cars out of that stuff, and it's lighter than aluminium, you know, and it isn't like this technology's 30 years in the future. You know, they could build one of these cars now if they were so minded to do it and they put the development money in. It'd take 20, 30 million, but once the grid's got it, they'd have it. That would be it. You know, the way cars are constructed is going to change in the next 10 years in a major way.
Yeah.
In a major way.
Yeah. What else? Also, Ryan also said, and this was also going back to like the old BTCC days, about 98 and onwards, 1 sprint race and 1 feature. No reverse grid. Like he says, no ballast. No drawing numbers out of a bowl. You qualify on Saturday, race on the Sunday, and fastest lap time of sprint determines the feature grid.
Yeah,
most of the way, which is like 98 up until when they stopped the pit rule.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to that stage now where I'm thinking about it and going, you know, there was a lot that we could actually take. A lot of people say Super Touring couldn't come back. You know, perhaps the budgets and the cars can't. But hang on, we've certainly got the drivers with the attitude to carry that off. And also, you know, they could bring some of those rules back and it would still work. I think that's a perfectly valid thing that's been said there. I think that's great, yeah. The other thing I'd love to see is more female drivers as well. I think that's definitely missing out the grid at the moment.
They had a few, didn't they? Who was it? Who was the one that had the Vauxhall Astra and it was run on, was it vegetable oil?
Yeah, you know, you get sort of...
What's her name? Leggett. Is it Leggett?
Yeah, Fiona Leggett, yeah.
Fiona Leggett, yeah.
So, I mean, you know, yeah, you've had that happening in the past, but I'm on about, like, a proper all-girl team. Where's that? You know, it's just, it just shocks me that, you know, in some of the support races, especially for BTCC over the years, especially with the Ginetta Juniors and stuff, you know, those drivers have gone up and got, like, almost won championships and stuff in there. And then it's just like, yeah, and the, you know, and it's like the careers just seem to sidestep then into GT. So they're then entrusted with more powerful cars, but yet they don't make the cut to Clio Cup or to the actual main feature of the weekend. You know, it's such a shame.
Well, you've got Louise Richardson. She's in the MSA Formula Series.
Yeah, and you got, I mean, Alice Powell a few years back as well, you know, Kimi Räikkönen as a driver coach, and yet she wasn't picked up by any teams. I'd have been straight all over that, you know, if I was a team boss straight away.
Yeah, and also Kimi Räikkönen was in Formula Renault before going to Formula 1.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, another one that, you know, well, we come on to that with famous drivers, but I mean, if I could pick a driver, I mean, I've got a long list of drivers I wish I could see in the BTCC, but the first one I'd put in was Duncan Tappy. Because he used to just go and be like 20 car lengths ahead in Formula Renault. He was untouchable one season. It was amazing.
You were saying about Stefan Hodgetts as well.
Yeah, now that's my own. If I win the Euro Millions, I'm going to get, right, I don't care what the car is. It could be the worst car in the world, but I'm going to have the most eyeballs on my team for Bart Racing. I'm going to get some battered Skoda taxis. Right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick Stefan Hodgetts in one and Paul O'Neill in the other. and then just stand back and watch the. We'll just watch what happens. Just sit back and see what happens.
You just stand there in the pit garage with your arms folded. Here's my boys. There we go.
You know when everybody else has got like a trailer to put it in at the end of the race? I'm just gonna have 2 skips and see what state they bring the cars back in.
Get a big truck with a big massive skip in it.
Just skip by it.
And the crane at the top of it.
Yeah, just whatever that's in. We'll just weigh them in and get 2 for the next round, lads. It'll be fine.
Plain Black Beauty theme tune when it's being lifted off the skip.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be actually quite amazing. We're going to show you our new car.
Yeah. Friday night team meetings. What are we having? I don't know. What's on eBay?
Oh, dearly me.
That'd be quite funny. So on that thread, then we had some really big responses. I mean, we only put 1 question up. We're trying at the moment, and I mean, I think this is the issue that we at this point we like to say this is being recorded tonight for the admins, and hopefully it will be posted up so you can all enjoy it and hopefully enjoy it and watch it and give us feedback and all that sort of stuff. But
there was a few other questions. There was a few other suggestions as well, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm saying is like we want to do this, but evidently we like to do it live. So that would be absolutely amazing. My door's just come open for no reason whatsoever. Apart from that. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's all right. I was just checking. Look at that. My beautiful, long-suffering wife. Just in case you didn't know, this was me, by the way, Shaun. She's bought me.
Where's my mum? Give me a mug.
Yeah, as you say this, I've already done this. I've actually got one of Daffy's mugs out to the group as well, which is amazing as well. It's coming really well. Yeah, so we're going to continue looking at some of these ideas. But what I'm saying is we really love to do this. We've got the technology, so we can actually do this live and you could interact and everything else. But we do need permission from the admins. So the admins,
please give us please accept this because this was fun.
We love doing this, and we would quite happily do this. And there's nearly 4,000 members on the group. Apparently, it would be great for all of you to do this. Join in. If nothing else, let's have a Christmas quiz, end of season quiz, whatever. We could do this before or after each round. We really want your feedback. So
and get some drivers involved in this as well. Ask them questions.
Yeah, competitions, whatever we can possibly sort out. Let's do. How many other comments are on there then for that one?
There was not a lot left actually. Talking about with the no ballast thing as well. Julie Bacon. Hello, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
She says ballast can stay, which I agreed on. Soft tire can go, which I can agree. No pit stops, which I don't agree. So there you go.
So as Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yeah. So, yeah.
Craig Nicholson. Hello, Craig. He says points for all. The guys down at the back can still fight for the championship points and gives a true picture of how every single driver on the grid is doing.
Yeah, I'd like to see bonus points as well awarded for things like most overtakes. Shortest distance. I mean, they got all the GPS data off the car. You know, who's actually made? If you took all the racetracks around Britain and every single lap of every single round and made it one great big straight road, who's actually covered the least distance? I'm a real geek. I'd love stuff like that. That'd be amazing.
But they've actually extended the points as well now to 1st to 15th. When years ago it was 1st to 10th, but I think it was in 2012. I think it was they changed the points from 11th at 1st to 15th. But also when I'm saying about that is when they also did the ball draw back then. Like I says, the points then was 6th to 10th.
Yeah. How often was 10 pulled out of the bowl? or are we stopping doing that joke? All right. Okay.
But now since the points have changed, why isn't it not bowls 11 to 15?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is, as well, is I'd really love them to do the reverse draw grid, but instead of having pole, they have 10.
Well, if they did that like in the mid-noughties, I think. It was like, if you were in 5th or 6th position at race 2, you will start on the pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
but I didn't do that.
You know, and race 3, I mean, if they wanted to spice it on race 3, and again, this is a bit video game territory, and I'm not really sure about the old fan boost idea, but I kind of like the idea of them actually walking up in a crowd and asking one of the kids who's watching, take some like 7, 8-year-old kid and go, who do you want to see on pole in the next race? Your wish is my command. There you go. You now just pick the grid. I think that'd be awesome. To make a kid's day as well, you know, it'd be great.
Or even like if the BTCC can make like an offering, like saying, who would you want to see on pole position? Make your votes now, and whoever gets the most votes will start on the pole, and whoever gets the least votes will start last.
Yeah, so yeah, I've got a good feeling I know which number would be in the what's it every now and then, but we're not allowed to go there, so you know.
No, we're not going there just yet. No.
yeah, it's okay. We'll save that for another feature that you want to talk about later on. Yeah, so the last few then. So let's blast through these and then we'll crack on because I'm conscious of time, mate.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed the time as well. Anyways, John Mins has a pretty laughable one and something that's very, very impossible. No body contact.
In the BTCC.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm sorry.
That's unheard of.
I love the racing to bits and I love everybody on this fan group equally, right? But that's like asking a deep sea diver to jump in the sea and not get wet. It's just, you know, the chances of that, you know what I mean? It's not good.
That would be mad. I would, you know, I would not watch BTCC if there was no body contact.
Rubbing's racing, so they say.
Yeah. Wouldn't have that.
No, I'm not a fan of that one. Sorry, I don't want to offend
No,
anyone.
never mind. No. Let's just scrap that rule already.
It's not banger racing, but it's close. I think that's where we like it.
Right, anyways, there's 3 more left. Martin Atkins says, last race of the year, a handicap race based on season standings, not just reverse grid.
Cool.
So, like, the guy that's like last in points will start on the pole, and whoever's leading the points will start last. But he may have clinched the championship then. But you never know.
You know, I really like the idea of this ITV4 charity race where, you know, they just blank out all the cars at the end of the season and they do something like that with that so it doesn't affect the championship. I think that's a decent way that Alan Gow could handle that one.
Yeah. Another one from Shaun Deacon. Hello, Shaun. Nice first name. Only different. He says a NASCAR style at Rockingham on the full oval. So meaning like cars racing on the oval track rather than the road course, which would actually hurt the engines a lot, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think what they'd actually do is surely they'd put a different gearbox in there and start running. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, these things are a highly tuned racing car. WSR, I'm sure, would just pick the phone up to BMW and go, yeah, you know your GT Z8 that you've got in British GT, can we borrow that 9-speed gearbox out of that, please, just for this one?
But they have a rolling start as well.
Yeah, and again, there used to be a thing at Rockingham. I'm going back now, again, with Gordon Shedden, when he was in the Seat Cupra Championship, around about 2000. Yeah. I was in the crowd at Rockingham that day, and what actually happened with it was they had some bollards that came up out of the ground. So what happened was they did one lap on the oval, warm-up lap. They had the rolling start, then they did another lap, and then these bollards would come up out of the track, and they get turned into the infield. They'd literally put cones on, like that come up out of the track, a row of them, and the next season they actually removed them from the track because in the supporting formula race that was with it, single seaters, one of the lads actually hit the barrier and almost cleared the catch fencing.
Oh wow!
It was, I mean, he really, I mean, if he'd got another half a foot on the car, he definitely would have come over the top of the fence. He hit the top of the fencing right where we were sat. And that was as scared as I've been because I mean, there was no chance of coming, you know, he was airborne, he hit the other car and that was it, and he hit the bollard and he just, instead of the bollard collapsing, the person went over it in front and as it was spring loading was coming back up, he hit the wing and it cut the air caught him and that was it then. It was a full-blown Mark Webber, you know. Yeah. And I'd love to see them on the full. I don't think Rockingham gets used at all in the capacity it was originally designed for because when you see it on the footage, I always feel Rockingham's, it's sad that you've got these massive grandstands, but they've never been used. It always seems like they've never seen any bum ever, you know, they've never seen it, you know, there's 3 grandstands I could point at Rockingham. I'm sure nobody's ever sat in them. I don't think they've ever been opened up, apart from the kart race when it first opened, you know.
Which ranked 81?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I think it was
and the old NASCAR series too, as well. Which
yeah,
proven that.
you know, I think that's the only thing that does it for me with Rockingham. It reminds me very much of Donington. I like circuits that feel like there's some history there. And with Rockingham, I just don't. It's a great track, but I just don't get that feeling. But then again, I've only been 2 or 3 times, so perhaps it's a grower. You know, it's one of them ones that I keep going back to periodically. You know, when there's something really good on there, there has to be something really worth watching on there. Touring cars obviously is one, but the oval would definitely grab your full attention. It would me anyway. Great idea.
Well, if you may remember from a few years ago, Jeff Smith in the Reds backed it into the wall at the first turn, and that car was heavily destroyed. You also go back to Michael Bentwood, I think it was, in the production series when BTC had the production cars. He backed into the wall in 10 foot. Well, I think he side slammed the wall, and his car was destroyed as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that fear as well that if you smash into the wall at the first turn. If it was for the full oval, that's your race meeting done.
The other thing as well is evidently the safety risk as well because of that. Because at the end of the day, this is now beamed 8 hours at a time into people's homes all over the UK.
Yeah,
and they don't want another. They never ever want that sort of serious accident beamed into the TV. I mean, I remember. I think it was Calvin Burt in the Porsche Super Cup.
Oh, flipped over at Thruxton.
Yeah, and he went really. I mean, like the catch fence didn't do its job at all. It was just a complete failure.
It just flew over. It just flew.
Yeah, and it was just like, you know, that sort of thing was.
And also with Carl Breeze and Proctor at Alton Park in 2009.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen it happen in other races as well. I remember Hunter Abbott and Giannetta's catching fire down there. You know,
the guard fence and caught fire.
Yeah, that was 2 marshals posts from where we were working that day, and it was quite scary to watch. We were glad he was okay.
Yeah, I think that's always a racing driver's fear is fire.
Yeah,
and that you're safely strapped in the car as well, and you're desperately trying to get the belts off you and get the car as quickly as possible.
They always say with marshalling that the worst case, you know, when a car is really exciting when it's crashing. I know that sounds like the wrong thing, but like if there's bits flying off it and all sorts of stuff, tend to find the drivers okay. It's the ones where they come to a stop and it doesn't look like there's any damage and they hit slowly. You know, that's where the danger is for the driver, because evidently the force of the impact's gone through the driver, not the vehicle. Yeah. So it's, you know, that's quite scary, really. So on a lighter note, then going on from that, I think the actual full oval at Rockingham would be an absolute corker. I'd be interested to put that up and see as a separate question on the forum and see what response we get back. I think that debate could run and run. That'd be great.
He also went on to say, and something as well that I do agree on as well, is add an additional track to the calendar, which I think it needs. I think BTCC needs to race in a different track, I would say.
Which track for you? Because I know mine.
Anglesey.
I was just going to say exactly the same thing, mate. Yes.
What about Castle Combe?
Castle Combe's quite an interesting track. It's got a really interesting first section. You know, it could be one of those. I'd really like them to also perhaps link up with other events that are on ITV4's calendar. So perhaps have some extra championship points and take the BTCC cars up the hill at the Goodwood Festival Speed.
And fastest time, you mean?
Yeah. And enter all the BTCC cars and the drivers, and they all have one practice run and one run up Goodwood Festival of Speed, because it would attract more fans to BTCC for ITV4, and also it would actually give us something really good, because you know, they could really set the car up to just do one bonsai lap, you know, really crank it up and just see, you know, it's things like that, you know, take all the weight out of Rob Collard's car and give him a hill climb.
And just see him slide about.
Yeah, Andy Prio used to be a British hill climb champion. You know, there's some potential in that, really, though. Yeah,
he did it as well. Yeah,
it could be good. He still does, doesn't he, for different manufacturers and stuff for the actual main event, that for Goodwood Festival Speed. That'd be great.
Yeah, would be. Yeah.
So which other ones we got then? We got a couple of others. Was there any for the tracks on there that were other suggestions?
No, it just said add an additional track to the calendar, but like I says, we suggested Castle Combe, Mallory Park. What about that one?
I'm actually part of a different Facebook fans group for the Friends of Mallory Park, and it's a lovely little track. But I think spectator-wise and everything's great, but I think the lap is too short for a touring car race. In my own personal opinion, I think it would be fantastic. If Alan Gower's watching this and listening in any way, shape, or form, please, Mallory Park would be awesome. It really would.
We'll give him an email.
Yeah, it's just, and that's the only reason I say that, because that would then bring another track within 30 miles of my house. So that means I go to 3 meters local, not 2.
Dear Alan Gow, please can you race at Mallory Park for my sake? Thank you.
Yeah. And also, can you give me and Shaun a VIP pass and a press media pass, so we can do this? So we can do this from the tent in the Porsche Super Cup, which is gorgeous hospitality as well,
and gorgeous cars as well.
Yeah, but mainly the hospitalities, only to be surpassed by the other ones in the BTCC. So if any of the other teams want to give us a free day out to go up there, that would be. Yeah, if you've got
good food, then I'll come, because I love my food.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll sort something out, Shaun. We'll see if we can do that. We'll see if we can sample something. Perhaps that's something we can actually do for each show. Is get your best spectator food for when you're spectating. So if you've got any cookery tips or anything like that, then what we can do is we're doing the show. We can actually try these different things, so we can have what is the best BTCC sandwich. I'm up for that. I'm up for doing some testing of that, mate. That's fine. Jam sandwich. Oh, that's old school. Loving that. Okay, so the last couple then, mate. We've still got a couple more to go on this thread.
This was the last one, actually, from Neil Hancock. Hello, Neil.
Hi, Neil.
He said, like the same thing about with what David Bohr said, longer races against the clock.
Yeah. Do you think the cars would survive that though? As in just tires, and brakes and things like that. I mean, they're pretty much.
I think if people are using the soft tires, they're gonna be shot after like I mean, I don't know what the time limit will be, but they'll be shot like after 5-6 laps.
The only thing I'd love to add to this, which I think the BTCC miss out on, is a night race.
Well, they did that ages ago, didn't they? At Stickerton, Silverstone.
Yeah, just a night race at Silverstone would be amazing.
I
mean, I went to the Brick Car 24 hours last time it was running. Unfortunately, I'm working. I can't go to this. But the qualifying at Brick Car, 2 in the morning, it's just amazing. There's nothing like it. It's freezing, but there's nothing like it.
I think the only downside to like night racing is you've got like kids that are going as well, and they'll be like, be having like school in the morning as well. So I mean, that's also a bit of a downfall if you want to include night racing back in.
Yeah, I'd like to take an idea from the SEAT touring car one that was a few years back, the SEAT Championship, which was they had a pop concert on the qualifying day.
Ooh.
So, that you paid your entry fee, but also there was like a pop concert as well. So like if you're under 18, you've got something, I remember watching the race, and then between that there was like some endurance race that was on as well, and it was a formula I wasn't interested in. And we actually went down behind the stands and watched the Sugar Babes live. And stood in the and it was quite funny because it was still only 15 quid in. And it was a lot. You got a good day out for 15 quid for a lot of families with 2 or 3 kids. That's quite a cheap day out.
Which is probably 60 quid more cheaper than watching a Formula 1 event.
and the rest as well. They started. There is a rumour they're going to have to start doing it sort of. How can I put it? Incentive payments, so you could actually split the payments and spread the payments for an F1 ticket now. And I still think the BTCC is cracking value. Absolutely cracking value.
And don't forget as well, the support races, the Clios, the Porsches, the Ginettas, the Ginetta Cup as well. A lot more exciting racing as well.
There is. I mean, is there any particular thing that you are disappointed at on the bill?
No, I think the one I was disappointed about was the Formula Fords. I thought their cars were just they were boring. They were just boring to look at. Formula Ford now wasn't as exciting as when they put a rear ring and a front ring on it. I thought they were a lot more unstable, and it did have some amazing racing. But since they've added a front wing and a rear wing, more stability, it's not as good. And I mean, also as well with Dan Camish as well, when Formula Ford was back in the BTCC.
Formula Camish.
Dan Camish won basically every race, and it was boring. And also as well with a standout driver, when other people were saying about the no ballast rule as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Clio Cup, I've always enjoyed Clio Cup, but this generation of Clio Cup, it seems to be it's a taller car, so it doesn't seem to be as stable in the corners. So you're not getting them. It's more like the BTCC now, but they're not. Whereas I remember a few years back, about 4 or 5 years back, where the Clio Cup, lap 15 of a 16-lap race, the first 6 cars were on the door handles, still going into every corner, and it was really exciting. And the new chassis and the new car doesn't seem to lean towards that, but it seems to be better to generate touring car drivers. So it's sort of lost off one end and gained with the other, and I'm not sure how other people feel about that, but just my own personal opinion of it, really.
I think the racing in the Clios is better. I mean, the one at Brands Hatch with Horton Eels pushing Ash Sutton out the way for the win,
Yeah.
And also the race at Donington yesterday. I mean, when Ash Sutton was in a 4-car draft and went around the outside going into the chicane where the start-finish line was, I forgot what part of the track was, and made it stick. I think the racing is
I think the quality, the level of drivers has gone. It's always been high, but I think the drivers that are in it this time round are more career-minded. I think they know that they're going to be pro drivers in the BTCC and they've got a plan. Whereas
they want to. Like they follow in the footsteps of Josh Cook, Dave Newsham.
Yeah, they've seen the plan. Yeah, they've seen the plan. And it would be nice if they could all link up and actually. I honestly think that what they should do is they should get an actual MSA sponsored team in British touring cars with a separate car that nobody else is using. And basically, if you win the championship, you've got one of them 4 cars that are up for grabs. And it's not anything to do with the main BTCC. It's just literally they put them in the car at the back, and they literally fight out for their own championships for a drive in a works team right at the front.
Just imagine the aggressiveness.
Oh,
as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's just put it this way: you get somebody who's from the Formula 4, the MSA formula, who basically, if they touch wheels, they're gonna, the car's wrecked, the race is wrecked, and as a result, the very clinical drivers going up against somebody who's Ginetta Juniors champion. There's a lot of scope, I think, to expand on that as well. So the other features that we were talking about then, should we go through some of those before we finish some of the interesting thoughts we had? Your get it off your Plato is my personal favourite. I think that's beautiful.
Instead of get it off your plate, it's more like get it off your Plato. So if you've got any issues that's wrong about the BTCC, get it off your Plato.
Yeah. He's got a 99 car. He's got 99 on his car, so we want 99 reasons to get it off your Plato. So we'll start with the first 2, and after the others, then from that point on, it's over to the collective, really.
Yeah.
So go on, Shaun. What would be your first one? What would you get rid of? Just thinking now. I can see. You see, when we're on air and you're looking at me right now, I can actually see him, and he can see me, vice versa, on a separate little screen at the bottom of the thing, and that's his thoughtful face. This, ladies and gentlemen. I'll shut up so you can see his pose. You go make a noise, Shaun, and that'll come on. Yeah, that there, right? That is one step away from a Scooby-Doo mystery, right there. This is going to be legendary.
I genuinely.
Come on, Shaun, baby, hit me. Go on.
I really cannot think of one. I honestly can't.
Oh, get it off your Plato.
All right, then. Okay, then. Put Paul O'Neill in a race seat.
Yes! We want the O'Neill back.
We want him back. I want to see the emotion when he gets a podium, when he's all emotional and all that. I want to see the excitingness that he does in commentary into a BTCC race meeting.
I honestly think the Spice Girls are coming back for a tour, apparently, at some point, right? And when they come back, I think as a part of the Spice Girls link, they should sponsor Paul O'Neill for just one race. Please, just one race.
What car?
It doesn't matter, anything. We're going to go for an eBay special. I'll do anything, just anything. A Dacia Sandero, anything. I don't care. Just get him back on the grid.
A Lada. Yes.
Now he is an interesting one. What about an ex-World Touring car Lada that's detuned? Because technically they're to the same regs. So you could get an old World Touring car from 2 or 3 seasons ago, hopefully, change a little few regs so it has a bit of ballast. Stick him at the back of the grid and put cameras on him and actually have him as a camera car.
Yeah.
Doing commentary from within the race.
I'm about to pass this car for 25th position.
I'm not. Pull over to the side of the track, wait for the leaders go, and then follow them for 2 or 3 corners, then back out of it when it's safe. He's a capable enough driver of doing that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Onboard commentary with Paul O'Neill.
Oh, just imagine that. Yeah. Oh God, he'll be so excited. I'm going to overtake a car. Oh my days.
Yeah,
that would be good entertainment, though.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love that. I think that would be amazing. I really do. I'd really do. That would be great. Get it off your Plato for me would be some of the, shall we say, grid interviews that are, I can't say, but I think we all know who I mean. When that person asks some questions that really are self-explanatory. So
yes, like what?
Yeah, Gordon, you've just come off, flipped the car. Rob Collard last season, prime example, right? Okay. Hi, Rob, you've just written the car off and ended up in hospital. Did it hurt? Well, let me think now. You know what I mean? It's just like, no. The man is in a neck brace. Leave him alone.
He just seems just lying there in the hospital saying,
yeah. Do you know, it's just like
he can't move his neck. He's like, oh, what do you think?
There's some things that you just, there's some things that don't do, It's like you put the car in, somebody gets there and they started off with a Volkswagen and at the end of race 1, it's now like an OXO tube. It's just like knocked all the colours out of that. And they said, so he's qualified ahead of you in the next race. Do you think there's going to be any more argy-bargy in race 2? Let me think. I'm 3 foot away from him and he's just put me in a barrier in the previous race. Odds for him making the corner, not that high.
I'm going to super glue a big massive spike on the front of my car and give him a massive puncture and make him crash into the tyre wall.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just,
Make it a death race. Just make it a death race series.
No, I honestly think that, some of the things that go on, I know it's a bit of pantomime and everything. This section's going to attract a lot of controversy. And we're not trying to offend anybody or say anything about any teams or anything like that. We're really not. We're just 2 fans just generally just chatting the breeze about it all.
And our passion as well for BTCC as well.
Yeah. We just want everybody to have a good time and really enjoy it as much as we do. That's what we're trying to do. And 8 hours is a fix, but it's only every couple of weeks, and we'd love it. We have so much fun on the forum. We're virtually on it every night, and it'd be great if before and after, as we go through the season, we can actually do that, And we'd love to do things like we both for the World Endurance Championships, we both listen to a podcast called Midweek Motorsport. I think there's no part with that. John Eindhoff and his team do an amazing job with that for Le Mans and all the other endurance races, and we'd love to do a version of their Christmas quiz just for BTCC or an end of season quiz. I think that'd be amazing. This actual Google Hangout feature we're using allows us to ask questions and you to respond in real time. We could have some real fun with this. With the technology's there, let's do it. I think it'd be amazing. Get off your Plato. Yeah, let's do that. So get it off your Plato. So we'll start on as a separate thread. And we'll read some out hopefully in the next one. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be.
Other ideas we had. So what other ideas do we have for features then? So people can suggest them, but these are just the starting point we came up with. Sponsor spotlight was one. Sometimes I see a sponsor's logo on the car and I don't know what it is, and it irritates me. I'd like to know if I know what PeerTech is. I've got a good idea, and some of the things are quite self-explanatory. But for example, I think it's Shedden's got itchy feet written on his visor at the moment. I haven't got a clue. Has he got
itchy feet?
Has he got athlete's foot? I just don't know. Just somebody please explain to me what they do. If they do, we could get a plug. So if there's any irritating sponsors logos, you're just like, what the hell is that? We'd love to hear from you. I think that's my main.
There was one of the cars on the Jetta Juniors that's got Tottenham Hotspur on it. Who are they?
Oh no, Shaun is now on his own with that. He's only doing that because I'm near London. You do realise that, don't you?
Oh no.
Oh dear, that's terrible. Yeah. I'm leaving all the Rangers gags, mate, because all their fans are everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we just really want to make this your forum. It doesn't always have to be us that hosts it. We just want one of us to be on there to do the text, so it's got some sort of internal admin. We'd love the admins to come on for one of these every single time. The only difficulty we have is that everybody evidently has got their own working lives and families and everything else, and we can't always be in the same place at the same time. So the lineup may change. But we'd really love your feedback on what we've done tonight. And we'd really love to get the questions in, put the stuff up on the forum, interact with everybody in the group, and make this something really good. I personally think this would be better if we could play footage and use pictures. We contacted ITV, and it costs hundreds of pounds to use just a second of BTCC footage. So
we're not going to do that.
So we're not going to do that. However, I'm sure, and we need to check it out with the admins, but we're hoping that we can take, evidently, like Donington yesterday, the fan forum at the moment, on the fan page for Facebook, is full of photographs that were taken yesterday, and it would be great to use some of them. So if we're talking about, one of the Mercedes or something like that, use the fan photographs from the people in there, credit the photographs, and, let's build up this repository and see what we do. I think we'd like to do this either after every round or before every round. I don't know Shaun's thoughts on that.
I mean, we should do it after every round, I would say. So the next one's Thruxton. That's about 3 weeks away.
Yeah, so between now and then we can actually come up with some ideas and a script.
Yeah. Mostly a script, yes.
Yeah, mainly a script, and some talent would be great for,
yes.
for my
That's
side.
Probably
anyway.
better looking people.
You're a Nigel, mate, seriously, I tell you, yeah. I look like Rob Austin's rear bumper than I've had.
I look like the Michelin man with clothes on.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. This hangout now is recording to YouTube. The way we've done it tonight is done it with no audience, and that's so the admins can check it. You're actually watching a pre-record right now. But if you really do like this, we can actually schedule a time and you can interact with us live, and it would be amazing to do that as well and get as many people on as we can. There's about 4,000 people in the group, and we could actually have each and every one of you watching it, and it would record to YouTube and everything else, and we could actually connect you into the call, and you can have your say and do that as well. So you could co-host with us. It would be amazing to do that and get all your features, stats. I'm terrible for, Shaun's our stats guy. He's amazing at that.
Yes.
So basically, there's holes in my knowledge, and believe me, the second I mess up, he corrects me straight away, and it's perfect. It works really well. So yeah, have you got anything else you want to say, Shaun?
I need a toilet.
Right. Okay. Is that a good point to end?
Yeah, that could be.
There's so many jokes we could do right now, but I won't. So hopefully you've enjoyed our first ever Around the Bend with Shaun and Bart. And feedback, comments, please. It would be amazing. Please. I haven't eaten yet. He needs a toilet. I need food. I'm gonna search what itchy feet is and try and have an answer for you by the next episode of Around the Bend. Yeah, so from me, it's been amazing. Shaun, it's a pleasure as always, mate. Love to see
Thank you very
Scotland
much.
too, up in
Yes.
Knockhill. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon, mate. Do you want to say your goodbyes?
Bye.
All right, okay. Get them fired up. Come on, man.
Bye.
Get them fired up to send stuff in. Come on, Shaun.
Bye. A wave, that'll do.
Right, okay. And on that bombshell, we'll finish then. And yeah, thank you for all the questions. We'll put another set of questions up on the forum. I'm hoping you've stayed till the end and enjoyed it, and we'll be back with you real soon. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.